¿Qué pasa, raza? Bienvenidos a mi programa, El Maestro Lowrider. We're very excited today. We have a very special guest for you. His name is TJ Jones, aka the Tint Guy, over here in Lawrence. I've known this guy for a long time, and he is a true lowrider. So we're very excited to have this program for you today. One of you guys, join us. Let's roll. All right, everyone, we're here. We're at the Tint Guy. Bienvenidos. Vámonos. Yeah, man. So this is a great shop you got here for sure. Awesome that you're doing all that. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Lowrider Teacher Show. We're super excited to have you guys here today, and we have a very special guest. This is TJ Jones, aka the Tint Guy. I think a lot of you guys in Kansas City know this guy, because he's the one that does the 520s and the 13s and all the tires that a lot of people can't do. So we're very excited to have this guy here. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
Cool, man. So you know what? One thing that I really want to know is, like, I've known you for a long time, but I think I know that you're from New Mexico, but I kind of want to know about you, man. Where are you from? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, originally from New Mexico, Southwest area. Just kind of grew up around cars. My dad was a mechanic. So I was always, my first memory of a vehicle was just parts laying around and just kind of the smells of a vehicle, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember him working on vehicles, so it was just kind of something that was always around. And then kind of growing up from there, we kind of moved back and forth to Texas, Washington, and Oregon, and all that. And from there, it just kind of was something that was always ingrained in me. I guess I never really thought about, you know, having a car in the future or something like a custom car. It was just something that I always just kind of was inside me. So I don't know how to explain it. It's just something that was already there. Like when I had a vehicle, I'd always see people driving hot rods or whatever. And it was something that was just interesting to me. And the first kind of really custom paint job I remember seeing was on Chico and the Man.
Oh, yeah.
So that part where the car goes across, and that was
Gypsy Rose?
Yeah. So that was like the first time I actually seen like a car with a crazy paint job.
That's crazy, bro.
So that, you know, the intro, I'm waiting for the car to pass by the, you know, intersection. That was the excitement there. So that was my first type of custom car that I wanted to really like get
Fix
to
up.
see. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. So how'd you land in Lawrence, Kansas, out of all places?
My mom got remarried, so he was originally from up here in Kansas.
Yeah.
So we kind of moved from, you know, coming up here, they moved to like Ulysses, Garden City area. So it was there, that was kind of a few years there was kind of, you know, just from a big city to there.
Right.
So they moved up here so he could go to school up at KU and finish up whatever he was doing there.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't come right at first. And then when I finally did come up here, brought my car with me. So that's when I brought my 64 up here, and I kind of that was my safe place, was to drive that car around.
Right.
But bringing it to the town and, you know, taking it out to cruise, I kind of was looking for other cars that were lowriders.
Yeah.
There was nobody.
There was nobody here.
So I was just like new to the place, didn't know what was going on, and just looking for other cars. Cruising down here downtown, and you know, cops were pulling me over, like wanting to know where I was from because I had out-of-state tax.
Right, because you had when you arrived here, didn't you get pulled over and there's like on the newspaper, like the first or gangs are moving here or something like that?
I got pulled over numerous times wanting to know who I was, where I was coming from, what I was doing, because I had out-of-state. So I got pulled over like 10 times that first night. Then a few weeks later, months later, whatever, they had come out in the newspaper that said gangs coming to Lawrence, and they had
A picture of
a
you?
picture of my car and then all this graffiti and stuff.
That's
so
crazy.
automatically I was labeled as a gang member or something bad, you know. So
Right.
every time I wanted to come out cruising, it was like, I'm going to get pulled over. I already knew, you know. So
Right.
it just was constantly getting pulled over. And it just kind of came to a point where I didn't really want to do it anymore.
Right.
You know, fixing the car up, had people keying it, doing this and that, and just kind of put my
'Cause
heart
of the
into it.
stereotype.
And then it was just something that turned into something bad where I didn't, you know, really want to do it anymore.
So you paused for a long time on the lowrider
so I
thing.
kind of took a step back, got the car back, you know, to go get it
Right.
repainted and all this, do this other stuff. It just kind of took it back, you know, step back from it, because it was something that was negative to me, which should have been positive.
Right.
So from there, I kind of took a step back from cars, just
Right.
kind of refocused what I wanted to do.
Took a break.
Yeah, took a break, did some other, you know, jobs here and there, that something away from cars. Coming back to it, I got offered a job at a shop
So you
to fix stuff up because I was doing lowrider bikes and stuff like that.
so you got back into it.
So I kind of stepped back into the lowrider stuff with the bikes and building custom stuff, something
Nice.
different that people didn't really see.
Right.
So I did that. Then I started taking them to shows here and there, just, you know, kind of get my feet wet again.
And here you are today.
And then, yeah, and then it came, you know, kind of into this now.
That's great, man. So I'm super glad you're doing that, and I know there's something I want to touch on in a little bit because you talked about the relationship with the police department specifically in Lawrence, and I know that now you're working with the PD, doing some great things. So I want to touch on that a little bit, but one thing I want to find out some is you mentioned that you moved a lot, and this show is really focused to, you know, talk to the youth, but also as a professional development tool for teachers. How was your education experience? Was it good? Tell me the good, the bad. Did you have good teachers, things that could have been better? How did that go for you?
I think the good part of having like a shop class, hands-on stuff,
Right.
not just book stuff.
Right.
I know I did take shop class just
Yeah.
because it was something I was interested in. And I already did work on my own stuff, so it was something easy for me to jump into, and I already kind of knew the ins and outs of it. But
Right.
it was something that, you know, it was offered and it was hands-on stuff, and that's what I think would help somebody in the future would be to have a hands-on program instead of just, you know, not doing any type of work,
Right.
wood class or, you know, welding or whatever type of automotive stuff or anything that's
Hands-on.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point, man, because I think, you know, as I've been in education for the last 18 years, when I started in education, the push was everybody has to go for that 4-year degree. That's what you got to get done. And now we're looking at data that's telling us, hey, man, your plumbers, your mechanics, you know, all your guys that are hands-on, the boomers are leaving, and these jobs are not getting filled because a lot of people don't have the skill. And I know for myself, you know, it's the same thing. I went to automotive school. That was my thing. I'm a big lowrider guy. I transitioned into a different career, but initially, you know, I know that that's what kept me even motivated to keep going forward was the car. So I'm glad that you talked about that. Now, once you came here to Lawrence, I know that you were kind of like, you felt like you were alone a little bit in the lowrider scene. How was school for you here? Were you feeling connected?
School was, I kind of did what I needed to do.
Yeah.
You know, kept to myself. Still, you know, just tried to do stuff that I was comfortable with, like, you know, artwork. I
Right.
at a young age, I would draw, you know, so I took a lot of art classes. I did a lot of automotive stuff. I just kind of made sure that it was my goal to graduate. That was my main goal.
Right.
But trying to keep, you know, to myself without, you know, doing anything to prove that I'm not a gangster or whatever.
Right.
But still driving the car.
Well, that's great, man. So as you grew up here, now you have your own shop. And so tell us a little bit about your shop and what you do today. And then I want to transition into what you're working with the police department.
My shop kind of came out of necessity, honestly, because I worked at a few different places. I worked at 2 different places at one time.
Right.
But they didn't want me working at one place and the other place, or, you know, vice versa. So it was like, I kind of didn't like the way they were doing their business, and kind of got the ins and outs of being in the business. So when I did finally go on my own, my mom was pushing me to, you need to get your own shop, you need to do this, and I just kind of was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Right.
But from there, I got to be known as that guy with the car and doing all the custom stuff. So it was like people would ask me, "Hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me?" So that kind of turned into what I have now.
That's awesome, man. So the shop class, that whole thing as you're growing up leads you to today having a shop like this. And what do you specialize in? I know it's called the tint guy.
I mainly do tinting.
Yeah.
That's like everyday stuff. It's something I can get in and out quick, a few jobs at a time. But I do offer upholstery. I do detailing, reconditioning stuff, anything in a vehicle that you would want done. I mean, I can pretty much do it, but I'm limited to my time slot.
Sure.
I did offer a lot of stuff like body work and painting, custom stuff that I like doing, but I like doing on personal stuff.
Right.
So it's kind of hard for me to try to transition everyday stuff and then doing, I'm like a one-man show.
Right.
I recently got some help to help me out, but it's still hard to find somebody that knows what they're doing or has the passion to do automotive stuff.
Yeah, because it's very specialist, and I know that I met you because I had a set of 14s with some 520s, and every shop in Kansas City was telling me I can't do it. So I looked you. Actually, I saw a video that you posted where you were putting some on, and I was like, well, I'm going to hit this guy up. So
yeah.
you're very specialized on that, and you're extremely talented. I've had some upholstery done by you, and I just can't say enough about the work that you do. But let me ask you this, man. As you know, you grew up, you got your shop going, everything's good to go. I feel like we always feel like, man, if I could go back in time and have a time machine and I could, talk to a young me, this is what I would tell myself. What would you tell yourself and the youth of today about this lifestyle, about our culture, about lowriding, especially as a lot of our youth feel like if they accept this culture, they have to go by what the stereotype is, which they're gang members or whatever, and as you and I know, that's not true. So what would you tell yourself?
I mean, it takes a lot of hard work to actually build one of these cars if you don't have the knowledge, but like learn as much as you can, hands-on stuff, like I said. Like if you have a goal, you're the only person that can obtain that goal.
Right.
You can't, like if you already say it's going to be too hard, you're already putting yourself down. So you have to believe in yourself. And there's really nothing you can't not do. Like, I mean, you're limited on maybe money or stuff like that, but that's how I kind of got to know what I'm doing now because I didn't have the money to pay somebody to do it.
Right.
Somebody put it together, I can do it too. So just taking stuff apart. When I was young, my mom used to buy me puzzles.
Right.
So at a young age, I was putting puzzles together. Things fit, That's basically how I would take stuff apart that was broken, like old toys that somebody threw away.
Right.
Take them apart, figure out how they're put together, fix them, and that's kind of how I got into electronics too.
Nice, man. So I love the message that you have for the youth. Keep going, stay motivated, keep it going. Now, real quick, I know that you're working with the police department on the Lawrence Cruisers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So that was basically something kind of goes back to when I was getting pulled over a lot. I wasn't doing anything crazy, but I was labeled as that,
Mm-hmm.
But it came to a point where I have cars now that I can work on here in the shop at my own convenience.
Right.
And stuff that I can do, that I want to do, that I wanted to do then, I can do now. And I wanted to cruise them around still, but still trying to get over that stereotype.
Right.
Like I pull up to a stoplight. People don't want to pull up next to me because they think, it's a gangster in that car.
I've been there.
But with the officers, it's like I want them to know that we're doing something positive. We like doing this. We want to show it off, but we don't want to be seen as getting pulled over downtown or getting pulled over somewhere and have a cop behind us all the time.
Right.
That's what I kind of got back into was trying to get the officers to know what we're doing. We're trying to be positive and give back to our community. But then again, they have the same pulling up to a stoplight. People don't want to pull up next to them because they have a cruiser. We have a cruiser.
And people are stereotyping them.
Yeah. So then I was like, they would know exactly how we feel.
Right.
So being that they have a cop car, people can single out a cop car. People can single out our cars.
Right.
So I was like, we should work together to show that we can help the community back.
Right. And I know that you guys put on a car show. Actually, I was involved in the planning piece. I wasn't able to make the event because I got stuck because a flight got canceled. So, but super awesome, man. You guys were able to raise some money for one of their foundations. And I know that you guys are planning to do things as time goes on. So TJ, man, you have an amazing shop. You do great things for the community. You are prime example of breaking that stereotype, because you're absolutely not what anybody would expect when they see the amazing cars you drive based on what movies have told them or what music has told them. You are exactly a lowrider, and you are a lowrider. A lowrider is a person and a vehicle and a lifestyle, so I'm super glad to have you as a friend and to be able to interview you today, and thank you so much for being with us, man.
Thanks for coming.
And guys, I want to talk to you kids. Look at TJ. Look at what he's doing. He's a true representation of what a lowrider is. Somebody who's achieved their goals, who worked hard, who's taken vehicles from the ground up. I mean, this man literally took one of his cars from the frame all the way up to what you see today, which is an award-winning vehicle. And you guys can do that too. And remember, you don't have to fit that stereotype to be part of our culture. You can be a lowrider. You can be somebody who's into the Chicano art and our lifestyle without having to have that negativity. You don't have to be a gang member. You don't have to do drugs. You can go to school. You can get your education. You can join the military. You can be a police officer. Do whatever you want to do. Reach your full potential. And guys, thank you so much for being with us today. And I want to remind you that this show was brought to you by Televida and produced by Exo Films. Thank you so much, and God bless.